guys, so I am in the carpool line of Aiden's school, and I thought I'd do a quick Carpool Confessions chit chat kind of thing. Basically, since I posted my 37 and 38 week update, a lot has happened. I'm 39 weeks, and I made the video December 2nd. Well, let's start there. On December 2nd was my husband's birthday, the SEC championship. Great fun times. We went to my in-laws. They had ribs and stuff like that, and we're all just hanging out, and all of a sudden, my back starts hurting so bad. So bad, you guys. It was a sharp, gnawing pain that never really went away. So I sat there and I was like, okay, is this back labor? What's going on? What is this? And I mean, I was slowly getting more and more uncomfortable, and you could tell I was getting more and more uncomfortable. You could see it on my face. I didn't even want to eat. That's how uncomfortable I was. And I always want to eat. I always want to eat. I even missed, ice cream cake. I was really pissed about that. But, yeah, it was... And on top of that, I was having front contractions. So, I'm having these back contractions. Not really contractions. Just, sometimes the pain would get sharper. And then sometimes it would just be, a gnawing back pain. And I called the on-call nurse, and I told my husband we were half an hour away from the hospital. I was like, okay, we need to go. Something is not right. I think it's back labor. I was pretty sure I was going into labor is how I felt. So I was like, okay, awesome, baby on my husband's birthday. No. We get to the hospital. We check in and everything, and she says, well, what's going on? And I said, I'm 39 weeks, but I am having this back pain, and it's really sharp. And I said, it's really hard to time my front contractions because they didn't feel strong enough. All I could focus on was that back pain. And so she said, okay, well, let me hit. So she took her palm and kind of hit really hard on my left kidney area, and it didn't really hurt. She did it on the right side because the pain was prominently on the right side, and I told her that. It wasn't the whole back, it was just the right side. And she popped it, and instant nausea. I thought I was going to throw up. I was so nauseous at that point, and it was really tender, and I was like, oh. And she goes, okay, I think you have a UTI. And I'm like, what? A UTI? I was like, how awful to have a UTI at 39 weeks. Am I going to deliver with a UTI? Is this pain going to still be there? So she makes me take a urine sample, which sorry guys, it's hard to hold the phone and I'm having trouble breathing. But side note on the urine sample, they had a little funnel in the hospital. I thought that was so cool to have this little funnel. I'm like, why don't they have that at the doctor's office? Because I always have trouble peeing in the cup, especially the further along I get. Because there's not much room to stick your hand there. And you've been there. So yeah, they have these little funnels. Anyway, so I peed in the cup. She asked me a bunch of questions. I pre-registered for the hospital, so I wasn't expecting a bunch of medical history questions. So if you go in for labor, just expect maybe you have a bunch of medical history questions thrown at you, because that's what happened to me. So I'm sitting there okay, answering these questions, and but I don't have to redo that when I go back in. So it was a good little trial run. But my pee came back fine, no bacteria, nothing. I didn't think it was a UTI. The fact of how quick it came on while I was just laying on the couch watching the football game, Patrick and I were both a UTI, really? And I was and it can be that painful? And she was like, yeah. And then I was and it'll come on that fast? And she goes, sometimes. Well, it wasn't a UTI. So at that point, she's like, okay, well, let me check your cervix. I was not going to check your cervix, but let me go ahead and check it. Well, she said, have you had any trouble having your cervix checked? And I said, no, they've been able to find it. I thought that was the weirdest question ever. I'm like, no, it's been fine. Well, she had trouble checking my cervix. What happened was, and I have never heard of this, you guys, so this is part of the reason why I'm coming on here, because I've never heard of this, never heard about anybody talk about it, and it happened to me. But my cervix moved up. I did not even know your cervix could move. But I guess Presley was going into like her final positioning or something, and when she moved my cervix with her. So the cervix is up instead of down, and she's hitting a nerve on my back, and it was only the right side, which is why it was like this sharp pain. And so at that point in time, she goes, I can't even really tell how far you're dilated because it's so far up there. Like crazy. Never heard of like your cervix moving. But this whole time, I'm having contractions 3 minutes apart. This whole time that I'm in the hospital. So I'm having early labor, but it's not strong enough, because I was able to talk through it. It's not strong enough to be active labor, is what she said. She said, you know what, I'm going to send you home. I'm going to show you a couple positions to get your cervix moved, or to get the baby to move, and hopefully it moves your cervix back. And then she said, sometimes this happens, and in a couple hours, that mom is back delivering the baby. So here we are on Saturday thinking, okay, we're going to get her to move, and then we'll be back in a couple hours to deliver. Like, this must mean she's moving in a final position. Or the next day, Sunday. Well, around 5 a.m., I finally, like, all the pressure on my back was gone, and all of that sharp pain was gone, which was, like, a huge relief, because it was so uncomfortable. And if you've ever had like sciatic or back kind of pain at all, you know it's really hard to get comfortable. So I was very thankful that that was gone, but then nothing. Like, I've had Braxton Hicks constantly every day, but not in a rhythm like that. Nothing. So come Monday, which is today, I had my appointment this morning. Well, he checks me. We talked about the hospital visit. He goes, yeah, it's rare, but it happens. He goes, I'm sure you thought you were going into labor. I was like, yes, like I was ready. I was like, we were going into labor on my husband's birthday. He goes, I'm so sorry. And he checked me, and I'm still 2 fingers dilated. And at that point in time, he goes, okay, now you can either wait, or we can schedule a induction. I'm not against induction, but induction has a higher risk of C-section. So I was induced in my first. Y'all know this. I did not know I had a higher risk of C-section. No clue. So he said, Sunday I'll be 40 weeks. So he said we can wait till and do a Monday appointment, or we could do a Friday appointment. And he said you could schedule your induction now for later in the week. And I said, well, what do you recommend? And he was like, give your body a little more time, at least till the end of the week. See how far you can get dilated, because it'll make your induction easier. He said, come Monday, though, we're inducing you. So I decided, I hadn't talked to, my husband wasn't with me. He doesn't come to the end appointments anymore, because there's not much to come to. I don't want him missing work, and it's not like an ultrasound where we're seeing the baby or anything like that. So he hasn't come to my last couple appointments. And so I wanted to talk it over with him before I decided about any induction. And so what I ended up doing was making a Friday morning appointment. And I will go back on Friday and see if I'm any further along, and then we'll decide. And I guess we'll decide on an induction date at that point in time, or if I look like I'm progressing myself, maybe we make the induction date later in the next week and hope I go that weekend. I don't know. Y'all, I was pretty positive I was going to go this past weekend or this week. And it's still Monday, so I could go this week. I really could. Here's to hoping. But we are talking induction now. And I just think that's crazy, because I have been sitting at being dilated almost 3 weeks now. And no progress, like the last couple times. So I ate eggplant last night. Like, I'm trying. But that is my carpool chit chat, my carpool confession. I don't know what I want to call it. But I did want to update you guys on that because I did not know your cervix could move. Like, that is a crazy thing to me. So, if you were feeling sharp back pain, what I had to do was I had to lay on my side and cross my opposite leg. Like, if I laid on my right side, my left leg came all the way over. No pillow in between. Came all the way over so that it pushes against your stomach and forces the baby to move. And if you lay on your left side, same thing. I had to switch sides and do it a couple of times and stay like that for a while. But she finally moved off of that nerve or whatever she did. And my check was, I could tell my cervix was still a little high today, but nothing like it was at the hospital. So it definitely dropped back down. But, so yeah, try that before you go to the hospital. Because that is not back labor, you guys. I thought it was. It's not, even though I was having contractions in the front, she said, you will know. And again, I was induced, so it's a whole different ballgame, but I thought 3-minute contractions, you go to the hospital. No, they got to be strong or else it's false labor. So, yeah, they sent me home and I'm still waiting, and it's a waiting game now, and hopefully she decides to come on her own, but we will see. So that is my update, you guys, my carpool confession. And I hope that helps you guys. Hopefully your cervix doesn't move. That was not fun. But until my next update or my next video or the birth, whatever comes first, I will talk to you guys then. Have a good day. Bye.